This is Gemara Zevachim Daf Pei Tes as we begin the 10th parak here in Mesechet Zevachim. All learning should be an incredible schos for Shlema for Gabriel Simcha ben Miriam Ahuva B'Soich Sha'ar Chayli Yisrael. As we inch up on Chanukah, we make a final call if anyone would like to partner in grabbing the schosim for the first few days of Chanukah, as the last half has already been taken. And again, I appreciate all the feedback. We are trying to keep the dafim up a good 2 days in advance. All those that appreciate it, I appreciate you reaching out. And let's pick it up from the Mishnah, a new parak, a new Mishnah, a new sugya. Kol hatadir mechaveroi koidem es chaveroi. A klal that we've probably been a bit familiar with, that tadir, that which is more frequent, that which is more common, comes first. Now, we're obviously discussing this through the lens and the guise of karbanos, as Rashi says that Shabbos is more tadir than Rosh Chodesh, and therefore, if you have the two karbanos, Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, to bring, what's going to come first? Shabbos, Chein Kulam. Continues the Mishnah. Hatmidim kaidil musafim. The carbon tamid, which is every day, comes before the carbon musaf. Mosei Shabbos kadim l'sei Rosh Chodesh. Mosei Rosh Chodesh kadim l'maisafei Rosh Hashanah. Shneimar v'alas haboiker asher lo yilas tamid ta'asu es eila. Of course, we know the next word is the famous ka'ela. Says the Gemara, minani mili minalan. Excuse me. From where do we know? Where does this cloud come from? Says the Gemara, Minalon. As we said, the reason the Mishnah quoted the reason. The pasuk says, Milvad, aside for the Oilas HaBoiker, you should bring the other karbanos. Clearly implying and indicating, as we'll read the words of Rashi in the second line, Hasiya Kavar Mashma Alma Timidim Kadim Lusavim. Milvad Oilas HaBoiker, aside for Oilas HaBoiker, which is the Tamid, you have to bring everything else. So what do we see? The Oilas HaBoiker, the Tamid, comes first. Says the Gemara, no, this is the Kasha. Maybe it's an isolated cloud that the Tamid comes before the Musaf. The Mishom Ditzadiri. The Shaila is Musaf and the Musaf in Minalon. Where do we know that one carbon Musaf comes before another one? Explains the Gemara Maravilla Damar Kra. So again, the kasha of the Gemara of Minalon is not stam. How do we know Tadir? Because you're right, we know from Milvad Elisabayker. Excuse me. The kasha of the Gemara is maybe the klal is dafka by the tamid. How do we know it extends even to the carbon musaf and musaf of A before musaf of B, whichever is more frequent? Says the Gemara, so Amravil Damar Kraka Eile Tasuli Yaim Shivas Yamim. Like these, Kaele Tasula Yaim Shivas Yamim. Like these you should make for the end of the 7-day period of Pesach. Eile, these are Kaele. These are like these. So the fact that the pasuk says Kaele like these connects the end of the pasuk with the beginning of the pasuk. The beginning of the pasuk we just said is a davar pashit. Now with regard to the tamid, it comes first. Now we know ka'ila like that. The end of the pasuk is as well. Ask the Gemara 1 second. Let me buy legufe. But don't we need the ka'ila for its own din to show us that the carbon musaf is brought for all 7 days of Yantif? Meaning, you could only make such a drasha if there's an extra word. But says the Gemara, there's no extra word because you need it for itself. Explains the Gemara, the pasuk could have just said, these you should make each day. Like these, comes along to show us that it connects it back to the earlier part of the pasuk. Ask the Gemara 1 second. I would have thought only these are for 7 days. So Ka'ila teaches us that not only the Shiva Kvasim, but also, the Ka'ila teaches, that not only the Shiva Kvasim, but as well, the carbon has to be similar to the first day. So Nachama, the Gemara is asking that we need it for the isolated for itself. Explains the Gemara, La Yoim Ksiv. Vakati says, Gemara, it's still not clear. Vakati Ema Ila Liyoim. Maybe these are for the day. Aval Shar Yoimi Lo Yadan. I don't know the rest of the days. Amar Kra Lo Yadan Kama. Amar Kra Tasu. Shukola Asiyoi Shavois. So that's the first teretz that we have Tasu, we have Layoim, we have Ka'ileh. You put it all together, and then the beginning of the pasuk says Milvad Oilaz Aboiker. Aside from the Talmud, meaning it's pasha that the Talmud comes first, then it comes everything else. Then we have the end of the pasuk Ka'ileh Layoim. Says the Gemara. Now we know to connect it back to the beginning of the pasuk that everything is a din of Timidim. A din of Tidirus, Abaye says, no, learn it out from the pasuk itself. From the pasuk itself, we can learn out. Imkein leima kram elvad oilas haboiker v'tishtik. Asher loilas hatami lamali. What did he then do the pasuk? That is lameimar dahachta tidira kitiktim. So says Abaye, really, like the Mishnah said, it's a straight up lima and milvad oilas haboiker shalolas hatami. You're going to ask, you need it for itself. So says Abaye, that's actual words, and the pasuk come to help for that. And that is din number 1 of the parak, the din of kol ha'tadir mechaviroi koidem es chaviroi. The makar, and extending it not only to the tamid, but to other karbanos as well. And we continue with the next Mishnah. And the next Mishnah, halfway down, Beit Tesam and Aleph, continues listing more cases. Another klal, whatever is holy or more mikudash from the other, comes before the other carbon. Dam chatos kedem dam oila. Why? Neshu meratza. It gives a rito, it gives a kapara. Ivari oila kadmin leimure chatos. Neshu kol, fully burnt up, gives it more kedusha. Leishim, Mimneshu kol leishim, it's fully burnt on the fire. Chatos koidemes lasham. Neshadama nitin ladal kranais al yisayid. Asham koidel taida. Vayal nazir mimneshu kachi kachim. Taida vayal nazir koidem lishlam. Mimneshu hey nechal yom echad tunim lechem hashlamim. Tunin lechem. They're eating for a day and a night, and they require lechem. Hashlamim is kodem lebachar. Why? Neishay tunin mata and dal lidus micha nesachem utunu fois chazav ishava voik. The bachar is kodem lemaiser. Mimneishay k'dirasay merachem may rechav, from the room. V'nechal kayanim. HaMaiser kodem la'ifais, they choose Zevachim carbon. V'yesh by kodesh kadashim. V'yesh by, where did we discuss? V'yesh kodesh kadashim damai ve'emurav. Ha'ifais are kodemes le minachais. V'nei shehein mine damim minchas chayte kodem le minchas nedav neishu ba'al chait. We have a whole long list of cases, and now we turn over Talmud Beis. The Gemara, as always, is going to go through one by one each and every din in the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, Minani Mili. The Gemara begins by asking, what is the makar that the chatas comes before the oila for din A, which is the actual haktara. But, with regarding to the zrika, but regarding the aktara, the burning, the oil comes before the chatos. Says the Gemara, immediately the Tana Rabbanan, ubar sheni ben bakar tigach lechatos. Im balalami sheim shnayim. If the pasuk is teaching us there's 2 different bowls, the chatos is not the same as the beginning of the pasuk. Harei kvar nemar. He says, we already know that. You know why? I would think I would think that the chatos comes before everything. For every part of the oila. So to teach us, no, the chatos does not come before everything else. If the chatos is the second part, and this is where we learn the din of the Mishnah that we split. Dam chatas comes to dam ha'ila, that's only the dam. Whereas it comes to the actual haktara, the burning, the oila comes before the chatas. Says the Gemara, at the tudat, the limbs of the oila now are going to be burnt. It's the flip side of the din we're talking about before the limbs of the chatos. The dam chatos comes first, but the ivarim oila comes first. V'amai, ask the Gemara, what's the reason? Ma'atana kamaisa de mechabra tiktum. V'hanach lavaboy, that which is the first matana on the base of Mikdash. The chatos was, the dam was placed first. So the avodah should be first. Amar Avina, Achamay Eskina, Hacha bechatzis, excuse me, Halviim Askinon. V'afal gav zechi oila dami, and even though it was similar to an oila that is not being brought for any particular aveira, Ka'amar Achmana Shtein Taira, O Takdim, it comes before the oila. Why? Because chatas usually gives a kapara, and therefore that's the reason why that the general chatas is also going to come before the oila. B'marava amri hayal v'hischa b'matanais kaimer. Once you started with the matanais, meaning once you started with the chatas, because the man as them come first. There, that's the reason why it ends up being that the haktara, the burning of the chatas, comes first. Because once you started with it, you don't stop. Continues the Gemara, we're at the two dots, about 12 lines from the medium-sized lines. First line is chatas. Dam chatas veivari oila ezem em koidem. The dam of a chatas, or the limbs of the oila. What comes first? Dam chatas koidem neishem eratze. Oildem veivari oila koidem neishem kalishim. So Tashima, I'll tell you the answer. Dam chatas koidem the dam oila. The dam oila who de kadim balei vari oila kadim. That it's dafka the dam of the chatas comes from the dam of the oila. But you want to know, could the dam of the chatas come before the limbs of the oila? No. Says Gemara, no, I'll tell you if I cared. Adrabba. If I really kadem leimure chatas, who de kadim ladam chatas kadim elameha like lamashmina. We don't have a right either way, so we're leaving this shayla open-ended. What is the status of the dam chatas versus the ivarei oila? And at the 3 lines for the end of the narrow lines, we go on to another shayla. Ibayilahu dam oila ve'imurei chatas izemem kaidem. The dam of the oila and the murim of the chatas. What comes first? I mean, this is the flip side. Before we had the dam chatas and the imurei and the imurei and the ivarei oila. Now we have fakert. We have the dam of the oila and we have the imurim of the chatas. Ezemeyan koidim. Oila koidim dekasi mikoyach kolil, because it's fully burnt. Oidelma on the first medium-sized line. Imuri chatas koidim dekasi mikoyach mechaper. Because the Maisa gives a kapar. Tashima, will bring your ayo. From our Mishnah, which said dam chatas. Koidim the dam oila. Dam chatas. Who they koidim the dam oila? Avle mari chatos loy. Says Mar Nachmal Adrabah. Me say for the end of the Mishnah. Ivrei oila koidim the imuri chatos. If I did kadim imuri chatos, avdam oiloi. El mehal like lamashmina. Nachmal no shayla. Ibayilu on the 4th line of 3rd shayla. Dam oila v'dam asham. Both damim. Eiz emeyen koidim. Again, not a dam chatos versus dam oila. Dam oila versus dam asham. Eiz emeyen koidim. Dam oila koidim the kadim mikal kol. It's going to be burnt up. But dam asham kodim. Why? Because the mechaper is giving kabara. Tashamat's bring a raya, says the Gemara from our Mishnah. Koidim the dam oila. Dam chatos kodim dam oila. Avdam asham loy. So says the Gemara, that's going to be a raya. The Gemara says again, Nachal, no raya. Why no raya on the 6 wide line, medium size line? Because bedinu really, the baile misti dam asham. The ID, the baile misti seifa, ivari oila, koimine leimure chatos. The Itana leimure asham, because if we spoke about the imur of the asham, having leimure asham would come out. I would think it's dafka there. But leimure chatos loy. And that's the reason why. Like Kadmi doesn't come first. Misham hachi tana chatas, be more inclusive. Tashem chatas kodim laasham chatas who dekadmi le laasham aval ayla loy. My love dam loy. My love says the Gemara dam. Explains the Gemara loy amurim. It's what they murim. They can have denomination in dama. Nit in shvamina. That's a raya. Stop over here. I'll pick up from here in the next year. V'siyata dishmaya.